Hi. Hey, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to episode 21 of Take 5 at 5. So, first of all, I would like to give all of you a high five for being here. Yay! Yes. So, we are back after 2 days of Hari Raya public holiday. And today we are starting the new series called Meeting Leadership Challenge. Yeah, so this is a new series today. We have 3 speakers for this week, which is Po Wifa, Ko Ni Wen, and Tan Huat Chai. So we're going to start episode 21 today with Po Wifa. And Wifa is already here today with us in the studio. Let's put our hands together to welcome Wifa. Yes, Wifa. How are you?
Woo! Thank you, Wilson. Thank you. I am well. Thanks for asking, and happy holiday to everyone. And how are you, Wilson?
I am fantastic. I just got my hair cut. My wife cut my hair. Amazing. She loves it. And she said from now onwards, I cannot go to the barber shop anymore. So she feels that sense of satisfaction, cutting my hair. So anyway,
Right.
We are going through a lot of new norms and new habits. So cutting our own hair is one of them. So let's put that aside, Wifa. Today we have a very interesting topic, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So the topic today is leading team in conflicting time. Yes, right. So now before we start, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like you to actually say hi to us by typing in the comment box. If you are here, just say hi so that we know you are here. Just type HI, hi, so that we know you are here. Now, while we are doing that, let me just give you some introduction about Wifa. I have known Wifa for the past 5 years, a friend of mine, and he loves to sing, and he can sing really well. I don't know whether we got time today to let him sing for us. But anyway, today he has a main task here, right, to actually share with us leading team in conflicting time. Now, he has been working in the banking industry for the past 10 years, and he was also an insurance agent for 7 years. And right now, he is the associate consultant with THC Consulting, right? So he has been doing consultation for the past 5 years. So, Wifa, we are really happy for you to be in our Take 5 at 5 today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
Yes. So let's dive into our topic today, Wifa. Right. Let's go into our main topic because we do have half an hour, right? Now,
yeah.
I'm just curious when it comes to conflict, right? Now, why managing conflict is so important to us?
Okay. I believe everyone know what conflicts is all about. So let's not go into the definitions. But what I want to stress is from the point of as a team leader or a manager in an organization, we will constantly run into conflict, like it or not. You know, meaning to say we can never run away. And the question now is that do we deal with it or do we just abandon it, right? So if we just abandon it, what is the consequences and what are the impacts going to be like? So the question you asked me is that how important is managing conflict in an organization? Is it so important to manage it? I would like to ask the audience, what do you think? Is it important to manage conflict? If yes, then you put a yes. Why? If no, then you can just say no. We'll come to this as we go along and see how important it is to address conflict. Shall we? Now,
Okay.
I'd like to give you an example. Yeah, I'd like to give you an example. What happened was actually, I not the last 10 years I was in the bank. I worked more than 10 years in the bank, but more than 10 years ago. And what happened was that I was a business development executive, but during the bad time, staff was they called it deployment, redeploy, and then there was a change in the structure, and I was put in a credit control department. There are 4 units of credit control: housing loan, hire purchase, leasing, and mortgage. I was dumped into the mortgage loan, not knowing anything about mortgage. Anything that other loans doesn't fit into the housing, hire purchase, leasing will be dumped into the mortgage. So our portfolio is very, very huge. We keep changing head of collections because we just can't manage the influx of loans go turned into non-performing loans. For that, we keep changing HOD, and the last HOD came. The last to me was when I'm still there. He promised us he wants to make a change. He wants to turn around. We were in this Kuala Lumpur collection hub center. They want to turn around. They want us to be the finest, the best performers in terms of collections. So every month, our collection figure is about 6 million. All these 4 units combined. Mortgage loan being the biggest portfolio contributed about 1/3 or sometimes more than that. See, and the weakest is actually hire purchase and leasing. But when he comes in, he wants to make sure that he actually do a good job. Now the thing is, management, they only see the big figure. They don't want to see the details. So every time HP and leasing turned out to be poor, so what happened was that when he came on board, he turned around by manipulating the figures. 6 million is still the final figure, but mortgage loan isn't that big contributor anymore. So he actually spread it, and pass it over to the leasing and hire purchase, and he looks good. There was a celebrations of so well that he performed, and party ongoing. But months later, we realized that he has been manipulating. There was a total loss of trust in this HOD. Some even take the courage to confronted him. Of course, he denied. But as the result, we were having so much conflict. We don't talk to the other team, the hire purchase or the leasing team. We don't trust our boss anymore because there's so much favoritism around here. So that two teams is his best team, and morale was so low. We are so demotivated. We don't want to work, and eventually, one after another, we left the organization. And I was told he was called to the head of HQ and he was asked to leave too. So, come back to these questions. Is managing conflict important? He is the source of the conflict and he did not manage it. He did not, it just let it happen. It went on months and months and months, and eventually all these things fall apart. So,
Okay,
this
so
is what to stress to you.
while we're talking about why is it so important to manage conflict, so in the meantime we would just like to look at some comments coming in.
Yes.
Jennifer Tua is saying yes, don't want to rock the boat when there's a clear goal in sight. If not, you'll lose sight of the target. All right. Singbi is saying if the leader do
Right.
not set the vision and direction and well accepted by the team, then conflict is in every corner, right? In fact,
Yeah, right.
later on, Rifa will
Yeah.
be sharing first like how, right? What are the ways leaders can actually resolve conflict? Niwen saying conflicts are unavoidable. Leaders need to know when conflict arises and then manage it before it spreads like a virus. Yes, kind of like
Yeah.
coronavirus until everybody has to lock down and business cannot operate. So conflict can be also like that, huh? Correct, no, Rifa?
Yes, it is. It's, if you don't manage it well, eventually things will fall apart. So come back to your first question. So is it important to manage conflict? The simple answer is yes.
Yes. Okay. So now, I think this question also is very relevant. Like, what actually causes conflict, or what are the sources of conflict, Rifa?
There are so many out there. One can just lead the other and turn it into a conflict situations. Like my example given, I think from my point of view, it started as a favoritism, and the boss favored certain people in the higher purchase and leasing, and eventually it turns out to be uh, that kind of favoritism to us. Eventually it leads to stress for me, because no matter how well I work, my figure will never be the correct figure, the actual figure to be reported to the management. So that is some tension in me, some stress in me, some no trust in me, and as a result, I'm demotivated. It's just counting my days, when can I leave the organization. So
Mm.
to answer Hilson's questions, different school of thoughts can be the cause that leads to conflict. Different set of paradigms. You come from,
Mm.
you've been brought up differently, and I have different set of values. Our values contradict each other, then we can even create conflicts. And what we say is stress is one element that can actually, just like that, it was sparkles conflict.
So there's one comment
Yeah.
from question from Muihan. Very interestingly,
Yes.
Muihan asked, is there something called positive conflict?
um, well, interesting. Thank you, Muhan, for that questions. Now, not all conflicts are bad. When the minute we hear conflicts, we know that, oh, it's a bad thing's coming. Now, if you were to manage the conflict well, there is a positive side of it, right? How can this happen? Well, let's say sometimes conflict arises due to misunderstanding, or like Cindy says, the direct visions is not clear, where we are heading is not clear. So this conflict actually gives us the opportunity to clear this misunderstanding, to clarify where we are going, what are the objectives we need to achieve. This gives clarity. So these are the good side of the conflict. In fact, certain bosses will throw some light, uh, what we call little minor conflicts for you,
Mm.
because they are actually watching you to see whether you can manage it well or not. If you can, probably you're ready for the next promotion. So these are the good things about conflict. But if you do not manage it well, then it will turn to the other way around. Then we are saying that the negative impacts is all over, right?
Interesting. Interesting, huh? So there is
Yes.
something called a positive conflict where it is used to test how do you handle that.
Yeah. It's not the good one or the bad one, the like the dark force, or the Jedi force. But if you do not manage it well, then you will have the negative impact, or the positive. You can create the positive side of it, that give you a mileage and a benefit out of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can
Right.
also see there's a comment from Niwen. Just like to read it out for all of us. Too much conflict leads to demonstration and loss of trust. Too little conflict leads to artificial harmony. Yes, sounds like
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Tony.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
polite and therefore nothing's happened. There is a sweet spot called optimum conflict level. Okay, wow, very deep.
Right.
So we will have Niwen tomorrow on the show, all right? Okay, so
Yeah.
now,
Well, but
uh,
because what he's saying, the optimum level is that not too much, and not too little conflict. Like Newell tried to say that too little conflicts, is artificial harmony. Everyone down there is like, oh, nothing happened. We are so peaceful. We are so harmony. Everyone is so, the Chinese say, cold, so cagey. But are we truly reflecting these situations, or everything is just deep inside the heart? When it goes to the back, goes to the toilet, that is where the backstabbing is all about. Things like that happen, and in a meeting, everybody say, quiet, but out of it, cannot work one. This is rubbish, or things like that. So there are situations of this we call too little conflict. So it is good to have the optimum level.
Okay, so we have also
Not too.
comment from our friend TK Chan. He is always in our show. Thank you, TK, for tuning in.
Okay, thank you.
There are
Yeah,
many
thank you for
kinds of
tuning in.
conflicts, and one of the worst is personal conflict. There is a sign that people with personal conflict creates team conflict, as there are already issues within the person. So, Kelvin Chu is saying in UK, the Westminster allowed lawmakers to debate in the open on the new legislation, and the two political parties will argue it out. May the best idea wins and bring the country forward. I suppose it's positive conflict. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they clarified the matters and actually talk about what are the best method for the benefit of the country. Yes. So
Okay,
this
Ben Hoy
is
is
very
saying
encouraging.
yes, it is. It is senior management. Ben Hoy saying senior management or those in leadership position do apply divide and rule approach to minimize potential conflict. Is this a right approach in large organization? Rifa, would you like to answer this question?
Well, yeah. Sorry, Houston. So you're saying something?
So the question is whether there's a technique called divide and rule to minimize potential conflict, right? Putting them in different departments
First of
or
all,
smaller teams.
yeah, but sometimes this divide and rules in the first place may even create conflict by itself. Like I say, if you do not manage it well, is again, then you will see that there will be favoritism. I'm sure 1-2 units will be the favorite one to the other boss, or you may question why is this being done. But if this is the case, I'm sure the management will have the answer to it as to why they will have this divide and rule. If you ask me, is this a right approach in the large organizations? I cannot just answer yes or no in that at large, because each company may have certain cultures and values, which sometimes the employee may have to find out why they are doing this. If it is just one person, just says, by and says, no, this is the best, then I says, well, this is not a good approach, right? But
Okay,
again,
so
I
in view
need
of time,
to go
Rifa,
back to the organization.
yes, thank you. In
Yes,
view of time, so perhaps we would like to
yeah,
actually ask you, what are the
right.
methods, styles of managing conflict? Maybe when you explain that, it could also, explain, answers questions which
Right.
relates to how we can actually manage conflict and which style is the relevant one.
Okay. There are many style tools out there, okay,
Mhm.
for us to apply. So this is just a personal sharing. This is something that I'm familiar with, and that I'm so in a way applying it. So from these techniques, this is being used by introduced by the Thomas Gilman model. So they are one professional body and does the assessments and have all these things. So by all means, I'm not, please don't quote me. I'm just sharing from a personal point of view that this is, I'm comfortable using it. Okay. So in this, they are talking about how one person is being assertive. Assertive means how much you want to go for your concern. You want to address your concern, or you want to address other people's concern. If that is the case, you're addressing other people's concern, then you're giving more cooperations in that sense. So all this time we have five techniques here is that how much I want to address my concern. If it's one thing I want to make sure that I need to win this and be so assertive, there's nothing else I want to consider, then I'm actually in a very, very competitive mood. That is a very competitive. But on the other hand, if I'm in the situations where I think, my the other half, normally, you want to give in. So that is where you take the approach on accommodating, you know, give in, give the way so that there will be peace and harmony, right? Another one is that, okay, this thing, at this moment, I can't take any decision. I can't make any decision. I need time. Then you delay the process. That's where you avoid the situation. Now, the thing is that you avoid until when time is right, the situation is right, you may want to come back and address this issue. If not, you totally abandon it too long, then it will it will be bad on you. You'll be a person to be seems like you are not taking things in control. You're disengaging, and you just couldn't be bothered with anything else. So this approach, avoiding approach, is just a temporary approach. Do not take it for too long. The same goes with competing. If you are always be that kind of person, you always want to be win. Eventually, people will also see you. They'll turn the head and move to the other side. And then the other two is compromising. Compromising, the one in the middle, is talking about middle ground. Let's sometimes situations stand still for so long that there's no decision made, and you will say, okay, let's win some and lose some. Yeah, it's not a win-win situation. You win some, at the same time you lose some. That's compromising. And eventually, the one collaborating. Collaborating is the one that we always find a win-win situation for both parties. The disadvantage of this approach is you need time, you need stamina, because anything that didn't agree by one party, you have to go back and look for options, look for alternative, and you go through the process again. You discuss until eventually both parties agree. So this is the 5 approach that one can use. Okay, like I said, there are many other approaches out there. Feel free to use, find them, and which one is best for you. You can just adopt it. Okay.
All right.
So can we? Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that 5 styles that you mentioned. In fact, it is also aligned with our show, Take 5 at 5. So, today, if your take home message, the Take 5 today is to learn these 5 styles, right? And to use it, right? To see, depending on situation, right? Which one is the best
Yeah.
that you can use, huh? So is that also depending on situation, Vifa? Uh, when we use it, which
Yes,
style do we
depending
use?
on the situation, it's actually there are 2 things you may want to consider. That is the relationship or the goals. If the goals
Mm,
is so important to you, so you may want to go for one approach. That is, first you want to collaborate. Eventually, if things doesn't work out, you may want to compromise. If things still don't work out, you may bulldoze your way in and get the things you want, right?
mm-hmm.
That is how much a person you are, that you consider the goal. But you are a person who thinks that this relationship is so important to you, you cannot afford to look, to have to jeopardize these things. Then you may have to use other approach, such as accommodating. Yeah, right. Or
Looking at
you
the
need some
right,
time to, yeah, yeah,
yeah, we also looking at the chart.
correct.
If compromising is the best method because looks like it is smack in the middle. Like you are taking care of the relationship
Um,
as well as
come
at the
to
same
this
time.
research. Yeah, it's always best to use collaborating, where
Uh,
both party wins. And then if not, then you may want to consider compromising. Yeah. But the thing again, if you are a person who are always accommodating and in an avoiding stage, you realize, this again we come back to awareness and mindfulness. If you're aware that all this while in any conflicting situations, this is the style you use, you as a leader, as a manager, you may want to step up and look at it. Hey, if I were to continue doing this, it's not going to do good to my people, and to my unit. So I need to change. I need to adopt other style.
okay,
So
let's just ask the audience,
this
shall
is
we?
where we
Today,
are.
to check with the
Sorry.
audience today, which style do you think is the most effective? Looking at the current situation right now, in the current context of COVID-19, where the new normal is happening, which style do you think is the most um, effective? Is it avoiding, accommodating, compromising, competing, and collaborating? right? Please type in the comment box while we explore with Wifa, to look at maybe Wifa, we can also ask you, right? Like right now, in
Yes.
terms of the new norm where people are adjusting to the new challenges that we are facing right now, is there any specific way that we can use to address conflict?
There is no fixed and fast rule that this is the approach. It always depends on the situations, and the
Mhm.
situations always come back to the person you are dealing with. And then again, the question is to ask you is, you want to go for the goal or you want to go for the relationship. If both are matters to you, then you may want to consider collaborating and compromising. If you think this relationship, I don't care who it is, I just want this to be done according to my way, then you may bulldoze it using the competing ways. So to answer your questions, there is none there.
Mm.
But for my approach, this five is good that if you learn to use it as a combo at any point in time, sometimes you may need to use it and you need to use the other one, right? The my,
I
my my point of view is that as a leader, yeah, so you must always equip yourself with more tools so that if you don't run out anytime in the tough situations, you can still handle that. Mm. Right.
Okay, so there's a comment from Jennifer Chua. Viva. Conflicts give opportunities to
Yes.
unlearn what we learn as each people comes in with different perspectives. So these conflicts allow us to chance to grow and to better by learning new skills, new methods like the negotiation skills and managing skills. Yes, it is. Right.
I
So
totally agree with her. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
So Chong Su Lim saying, interesting. I've been in a situation where there was conflict between top management members and their subordinates. We were asked to execute their
Wow.
war. How do we resolve such conflict?
Normally in these situations, uh, well, it's either we give in or we walk out, right?
Hmm.
Because at the end, it's still the top management who have to put down the rules, and then if these things does not contradict with your principle in life, your values, how you lead your life, if it's totally against, then sometimes then you may have want to consider call it a day, and then you may want to look for something else. But again, if it is something that you may not agree, but you're forced to do it, but it's still not to the level of harming others or creating some illegal things, then again, it's how you look at yourself and what are the approaches you want to take to confront this war. It's very much individuals. I have colleagues who will actually fight for everything. Previous colleague in the bank, we know he's a fighter. He will just fight for anything that is contradict. So it is good to have people like him to be around. He actually fight for the rights, and the rest of us are sometimes we call ourselves the coward. But again, you may say that if he were to go to another level, then the company may want to consider terminating his service because it's considered not in line with the company's objective, things like that.
Can you
Some
give me the
call it
telephone of the
some
person you mentioned? I want to get to know him. You said he can fight well.
right. So to answer Celine's questions, I think again, it is to what level, whether you want to confront or you want to call it a day or you may just follow through. Uh, because like it or not, sometimes we need that income to bring food to the family. So our hands and legs are all tight. But if you don't have that, by all means, you can always fight the war.
Okay, so just now I saw a question from Pakistan. I think we still have a bit time
Yeah.
to address Pakstan's
Okay.
question. There are people who behave like little Napoleon, in the office. They are in the drive for
Okay.
power grab,
Okay.
and result they want to push you out of the company. Or how do you resolve this? Is there a style that you
Oh,
can use to resolve this based on the 5 styles you mentioned just now, Viva?
uh, there's not just particular use that one style and then goes against this person. First, I
Mm-hmm.
need to establish this employee. How is he ranked in the organizations? I wouldn't want to fight a losing war if he is already someone a big shot down there. If
Mm.
working with him is impossible, I may have to find ways. I may have to talk to the HR to resolve this matter, or I may have to talk to the unit managers. There's so many things we need to do. As a employee in the organization dealing with these people. I do not have a concrete context to answer these questions. If I'm the unit head and this person is a unit head of another department, I may protect my team. I will have to talk to him. I won't say diplomatically, but I will find ways to talk to him and say, like, okay, I see your concern, I see your needs. This is my concern and this is my needs. So as long as we don't cross path, I think we're all right. And if we are crossing path, then so be prepared. There could be consequences, but we do not want this happen in an organization where the company will suffer. We have to just find ways to actually iron it out. I know this is a things, but again, to answer Bak's questions, I don't have a solid scenario down here. I'm just based on the perceptions. Yeah.
Okay, so one
Right.
last comment from
Uh,
TK. The most effective is definitely the
yes.
collaborative style, and compromising does not mean that we should settle at 50-50, a common myth among many negotiators. Yes, so I truly agree with you. TK Chan, as a team builder, we always propagate the idea of collaboration. Together, everyone achieves more. Huh? So managing conflicts at the end also
We
lead.
win some, we lose some.
Yep, yep. So at the
Right.
end, of the day, we want
We
the
win
team
some, we
to
lose some.
operate
Yeah.
at the optimum level. Right. So one more comment from Sengbi. Take care of your performance first. If you deliver your business results, usually not easy to push you out. Yes, it is. Huh? So without any
Thank
summary
you, Cindy, for that.
from you, yes.
Now, yeah, actually, I'm, if I may, I want to lead it to another point. Why I'm saying this managing conflict is so important is because I want to show the next slide. Hilson, if I may, you say I want to bring in another model, which is
Mhm.
the Tuckman model. We talked about the team development. You see, in any team when you form, you started by forming, then you have storming, then norming and performing. What does it mean? Forming will bring everybody together. Now, storming is where this stage conflicts will arise. You will push my boundary, I will push your boundary. Everybody is pushing because we do not know each other, we do not know how you work, and we do not know your values. So everyone is pushing. But the thing is that as a team leader, as a manager of this unit, if you do not manage this conflict, it's very difficult for this team to move to the norm where everyone is aligned to the goal. Not weakness to say wants you to perform. How can you perform when everybody's are not aligned? So now we're trying to tell you that it's very, very important in managing conflict. So in a team, as a manager, you must make sure that you have to manage it well so that the team, the group can actually move forward. If not, it will forever stay in the starting stage. So that's why we see a lot of team, why they are not performing, because they are always there. They're not, and the unit head, the managers could be one who avoid all these things. Let them settle themselves. You see,
Mm.
right? And of course, it's nice to bring this up because tomorrow my colleague Nivan will talk about team dysfunction and how to overcome it. I just think that this is just nice to actually connect the point. Yeah.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
that's a good summary
So
also. With
yeah,
So I
yeah,
was talking about,
and last as my yes, listen, go ahead.
yeah. So your last slide was really good to summarize what we talk about today, like managing conflict, right? So at the end of the day, we want the team to function at its best, at the
Best.
so that they can
Yeah.
perform, right? So like what you have
Correct.
showed just now, it was really relevant to what we talk about. Yes, I think we are almost time, Wifa. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for tuning in. So
Thank
if
you.
you have more questions to ask Wifa, you can actually email Wifa at powifa@gmail.com. Right. So once again, Wifa,
Yes.
thank you for being here with us. So tomorrow,
Thank you, Wilson.
yes, you are most welcome. Tomorrow, also on the same series on Meeting Leadership Challenge, it's gonna be Niwen to talk about team dysfunction and how to overcome them, and Jack Tan will be hosting the show tomorrow. So I see you. I will be working at the background tomorrow, and Jack will be here. Thank you, Jack, for supporting us in the background. Thank you, Wifa, for being here. Let's give a high five to all the audience before we leave. Wifa, come. High five! Yay!